Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and in today's episode we are checking out a new Asoba 172 Realism Mod. This is another modification that brings the default Cessna C-172 with the G1000 closer to real-world performance. Stick around and we're going to find out what it's all about. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkills tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator, please consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides, as well as any future updates and future guides that will be coming down the road. Link to Patreon can be found in the description below. Okay, so first off, here is a link to the mod, or a demonstration, I should say, of the mod. Link to it will be down in the description below, guys. Let's go ahead and scroll down a little bit here so you guys can find out what the mod is all about. Go ahead and feel free to pause the screen here and read it if you choose, or just click the link down in the description to find out for yourself. But the idea behind this is to bring the aircraft closer to the real world's pilot's operational handbook for the Cessna C-172 with the G1000 suite. Now, it is important to remember that this only applies to the wheeled version. It does not apply to the amphibious or the skid version of the aircraft. And it does not apply to the classic version of the Cessna 172 with the steam gauges. Okay, so it is just the one that we're going to be flying today. But if we come down here and check out the changelog, guys, go ahead, and again, I would recommend pausing the screen so you can see everything that is a part of this. It is quite impressive, the work that is being done on it. There's a bunch of different things that I am very, very impressed with, and I'm really looking forward to giving the aircraft a shot. I have not flown it yet. Now, a little history. I am obviously, as you guys know, I am not a real-world pilot, hoping and aspiring to one day become one. However, we're not there yet. However, I have flown in the Cessna 172 quite a few times when my father had his license. We used to go fly around and go get breakfast at different airports. It was actually a lot of fun. I kind of miss it. Actually, I really miss it. But I digress. But go ahead and check all of this out, guys, and then so we can see what we can expect. Everything from weights and balances to drag performance to wing position. Now, wing position, the physical wing hasn't been moved, but actually in the config files and how the aerodynamics should impact the wing has been adjusted. So we should see some slightly different performance. Induced the drag induced by the flaps should be changed. Lift is changed. Pitch has been changed. Nose wheel steering has been changed. Weight, center of gravity, and positioning has been changed. So pretty awesome stuff, really, guys. So let's go ahead and jump back into the simulator. We're going to get the aircraft started. We're going to go for a quick flight. We're just going to do probably some touch and goes here at Tucson International Airport and check it out from there. All right, so now that we are in the cockpit of the aircraft, let's go ahead and take a look at the weights chart for a second here. Now, he did add, you can see baggage 1 and baggage 2 to more accurately distribute the weight amongst the aircraft. I'm sort of just going to give us a nice center of gravity, just keep the aircraft nice and balanced. Again, we're not going anywhere too crazy. We're just going to do some touch and goes. It's just us flying today, so everything should be nice and easy. Now, let's see what I've got going on here. I'm going to do some quick controls verification and make sure that everything is working as we planned. And it looks like it is actually not. I need to check on my controls and see what's happening here. I don't have any mixture response is my problem here, or throttle response. I think my spad.next crashed. So let's see here. Let's relaunch spad next. And while that's going on, we can at least do some manual activities here. So let's turn the alternator and the battery on. And we're going to turn our beacon light on. We're going to get the nav light turned on. Shouldn't need any pitot heat. Parking brake is set. And let's see here. Now, there we go. All right, we've got control of our controls back. There we go. Mixture control back to full rich here. Let's bring up the MFD. And let's see if we can just get her started here. We're going to keep things nice and smooth today. Forgot to give us a nice clear prop, but that's all right. It happens. All right, and let's see here. Let's go ahead and set our barometric pressure. Oh, I think I turned my keyboard off. Very cool. Love this little portable keyboard. It's pretty badass. Little $11 Bluetooth or wireless keyboard, depending on how you want to do it. I just use the wireless receiver that comes with it, plug it into a USB port, good to go. It's really handy, really nice for the cockpit build. All right, let's release the parking brakes here, and let's just take the aircraft out for a spin here. Nose wheel steering is much more efficient. The input. So one of the things that I remember about the default Cessna 172 was that the input required to get the aircraft moving from the throttle was intense. We used to have to add a ton of power to get the aircraft rolling. That has definitely changed. I barely even moved the throttle forward, and off we went. Probably should have crept up a bit further before I started doing my taxi. Looks like we're taking off based on the windsock from 29 right today. Of course we are, because it is an incredibly long taxi from the general aviation down to 29 right. But some days that's just the way it goes, I guess. Now, we definitely got some significantly more... what's the word I'm looking for, guys? Torque coming from the propeller. I'm having to use far more right rudder to keep it centered, which makes me wonder what's going to happen when we really wind it up for takeoff. But time will tell, I guess. Let's make sure that's all good to go. All right. Yeah, see, I'm having to use a lot of right rudder. Not sure what that's about. I don't remember that being the case, but that could absolutely be legit, guys. I'm not trying to say like, oh, we shouldn't have to do that. I don't think that's true at all. Oh, I didn't turn my standby battery on. Oops. Hey, Mike, maybe you should use your freaking checklist. Maybe I should. You're absolutely right. But if you guys have been watching my channel for any length of time, being completely honest, I don't do it near as often as I should. Like, for example, the taxi light. That probably should have been turned on too. Yeah, like this is crazy. So here. So that's with almost full right rudder input on that. That's a lot of right rudder that I'm having to dump in there. Now we do have some wind. But I'd have to look at the MEDAR information to see what it's actually at. Let's go ahead and do that here while we're taxing out. We are using live weather, of course. Been really impressed with the live weather of Microsoft Flight Simulator lately. All right, 360 at 5 knots. So we don't have an incredible amount of wind here. So it's kind of, like I said, that's kind of concerning. So I'm going to let off of the rudder pedal so that way you guys can see exactly how it wants to turn. Take note of the power setting. There's full idle. Just a little cracking forward here. A little bit forward. There we go. And releasing the rudder pedals. Like, that's pretty intense. Pretty intense. But again, I don't know. You know, when it comes to those kind of things, I don't remember if that's how the real one was or not. It's been a long time. Now, I know in real world practice we probably shouldn't, but I think we're just going to take the runway here at Alpha. Let's go ahead and set flaps 1. Actually, no, excuse me, disregard. Getting my aircraft mixed up. We shouldn't need the flaps on takeoff. At least not for just a pilot. We're certainly nowhere near the maximum weight of this aircraft. Just take the runway. We're going to go strobes on, landing lights on. Nobody else is out here. I mean, even here at Alpha, we still have 6,000 feet of runway in front of us. More than enough for our 172. We can get 55 knots very quickly. All right. So again, not normal protocol, but for the interest of getting us to see what we want to see. All right, guys. So going max power. We're against the firewall. Mixture's at full rich. Off we roll. A little worried about what this rudder is going to look like, but well, actually now we're counting the other direction. So maybe that is just wind. It's sort of hard to believe that a 5-knot crosswind would be causing that, but maybe not. All right, we are already up and moving, rotating. Wow, picked it right up. coming off that rudder pedal. Ooh. Completely different experience already just on takeoff than what I am used to. There's that crosswind duking it out. So it must be a pretty good crosswind if it's kicking us like this. Staying steady, right about an 8-degree climb here. Alright, come on. Oh, came off course here. Just trying to maintain runway heading there. Reduce that climb rate there. All right, let's start pulling some of that power back. There's 2,300 on the RPMs. And let's pull some mixture back a little bit. Watching that exhaust temperature. Alright, right about there, I guess. Pretty content with that. Alright, we're going to level out here, ish. So, I know we've got quite a few things going on here. We got a decently windy day, apparently. We're getting bounced around quite a bit. Aircraft overall performance feels significantly different. You can definitely feel the torque and the wind effects quite significantly, I would say, improved. I mean, it definitely feels like a much more realistic performance of what you'd expect. And what I mean by that is I'm much more busy flying the aircraft at this point. Wow, yeah. And on a hot day, well, it's not particularly hot today, I will say that, but it is windy today. I would have honestly expected the windage to be higher than 5 knots. Overall lift of the aircraft seems to be dramatically improved. I did fly her before I installed the mod. Did that yesterday, testing around, just sort of messing around with the new cockpit. So that was one of the things that I did while I was screwing around, if you will. Wow. But overall aircraft behavior is significantly different now that we're airborne. I really couldn't tell a ton of difference down on the ground. Again, that the torque effect seemed to be pretty intense, but now I'm not convinced it was the torque, because once we took the runway and faced the other direction, well, then it was happening to the other side. So maybe that was just the wind impact on the ground. I'm not 100% sure on that. All right, let's sort of fly reciprocal here. Come on. Nope, stop climbing. Stop climbing. But a lot busier in the cockpit than I am used to being in this particular aircraft. I don't know why we're getting stuttering again. It's really frustrating that the stuttering is back. I haven't seen any stutters in so freaking long. That's really annoying. We'll have to see what we can do about that. I'll have to dive into that one of these days soon. Doesn't happen often, but so it tells me it's likely network. I'm just not sure what's causing the delay there. Okay, so I'm going to start pulling some power off here. We'll start slowing the aircraft back down to a decent approach speed. See if I can keep it level would be a good start too. Come on. There's 90 knots. I'm going to go flaps 1. Whoa. Flap effect definitely was changed. It's not near as aggressive as it was in the past. Let's go flaps 2. Transition in the lift from the flaps is nice and smooth as the flaps dip down lower and lower. The lift increased, but increased smoothly. We're definitely wide in the pattern for 172, I think, but let's go ahead and turn base. Now, one of the biggest reasons I'm super excited about this particular mod is the Cessna 172 is probably one of the most iconic in pilot training, right? Everybody uses the 172. Now, I don't literally mean everybody. This is going to be a short final. I don't literally mean everybody, but you guys catch the gist. It's very, very popular for aircraft for training. And like, for example, we're going full flaps now. Even, for example, let's put it about 1600 RPMs. Like out here in Tucson, it's definitely used. Which kind of sucks because I'd like to use a Piper. Our descent rate is ridiculous, but I'm high. There we go. It's a little bit better. All right, and let's turn final. Coordinate with some left rudder. Really high. Really high. Do a touch and go, and we'll see if we can do better than that. Going almost to idle. Really high. Terrible approach. We're almost at idle now, which makes sense. Verified flaps are at full. Let's see what we get here. Wow, 45 knots. She was still flying. All right, let's go back. Flaps up. Gosh. There's that torque kicking my ass again. I'm trying to get back to center line, and let's go back to max power. Come on. Come on. Looking downrange here. Come on, baby. Oh, hey, we're ready. Sorry, my bad. Off the rudders, letting that crosswind take it. So anyway, as these aircraft become more efficient and as a training aid, right, as we get closer and closer to the realistic performance or high fidelity, if you will, of these types of aircraft, these general aviation aircraft, these trainers that we're so used to using, you get a ton of advantage from it, right? And the advantage there is that because Microsoft Flight Simulator is what it is, you can do your VFR training and practice real-world aerial drills with the aircraft that you may be practicing or training with in real life if you decide to go for a PPL or any kind of pilot's license for that matter. So that's the exciting part for me, you know. And so when I saw that this mod was available, I got super excited. This is the same gentleman, if I'm not mistaken, who did the Realism mod for the Baron G58, and he did a fantastic job with it. Absolutely fantastic. I really love it. It's been a really fun aircraft to fly. All right, we're going to try to maintain 3,500 this time throughout the turn. Let's pull that mixture back in or back out. There's 3,500. Let's try this one more time, see if I can get a better approach here. Maintain the 100 knots. Come on, stop climbing, darling. Yeah, it is a wild ride right now, man. Definitely very challenging at this point. And I think that's just the environmentals, the wind, etc. temperature. Tucson, I will say, TIA is notorious for bumpy rides, especially in the afternoon. My dad and I used to always go flying early in the morning because by 10, 11 o'clock, you were really getting your butt whipped by the thermals as you were coming back in. And plus, if you take a look, I mean, the whole region is a bowl. You know, so you get the thermals coming off the mountains, you get the winds coming down the mountain slopes and into the city in the approach line. You got a mountain, that little mountain range right behind it, coming right, the wind's coming right down from it, right onto 29 right. So, sort of, it's an abusive track for sure. All right, this looks a little bit better, but this time we're going to make sure we get into the proper position. I won't turn base quite as early as I did. I didn't wait for that 45-degree angle. Let's pull those RPMs back. I just realized I was still cranking pretty hot. Definitely a big change to the 172 here. I hope he does the classic version too, because I really enjoy flying the classic. Classic is my favorite. I like the steam gauges, honestly. It's just everything we fly has the damn G1000. I get it. Times have changed. It's probably a pretty standard avionics suite now. You know, everyone's moving to glass cockpits. But you know, just I don't know. Flying by the steam gauges is more fun for me. Definitely more fun for me. All right, let's re-verify our barometric pressure. Nice. Still showing 3016. All right, just about got the airport where it needs to be this time. And let's start getting down here. As we do that, I'm going to pull some power off. Should keep that nose high. We're going to descend a little bit. I got a little high again. Oh, not too much. Not too much. Get that nose up. Get that nose up. Let's go flaps 1. Come on, darling. Come on. Quit fighting me so much. Is there a nice 300-foot descent rate? Going flaps 2. Man, it is just bouncy as all hell. And let's turn it final. Come on, keep descending, keep descending, keep descending. Add a little coordination with the rudder pedal here. A little bit better approach, but still really high. It just didn't descend fast enough during that base turn. Full flaps. Trimming nose down a little bit. Pulling the power way off. Trying to aim for the numbers this time. There's 65 knots. Mixture back to full rich. I would have liked to have set my manifold pressure according to landing specs, but I came in so damn high again. I really do love those space shuttle approaches, man. All right, crossing the threshold, power levels to idle, looking down range. And just letting her float in. Gosh, that wind is just keeping us there, man. Look at this. Holy crap. 45 knots, almost on the money, just like last time. Definitely consistent. All right. Flaps coming up. We'll get off the runway here. Come on. Taxing is definitely a different ball game here. Whoa. I mean, you let off those rudder pedals and she gets you, and she gets you quick. All right. Come on. 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 Ooh, baby. All right. So we got the flaps up. Let's Get the strobe light off and the landing light off. And we're just going to bring it right over here. Let's check our taxiway. I don't have any live traffic turned on at the moment, so we should be good. There we go. Let's park it right over here for now. All right. Good enough for me here. Set the parking brake. Okay, so final thoughts is it's definitely worth checking out, guys. For those of you who are far more experienced with the Cessna 172, obviously you guys know if you've been watching my channel, it's not an aircraft I fly very often, and it was an aircraft that I avoided for such a long time because just nothing was correct on it. I mean, like everybody knows that. And this this mod has definitely changed the behavior and overall performance of the aircraft quite significantly. So for those of you who are more experienced, guys, go ahead and check this one out and let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are on the aircraft, things that you might have changed, things that you found good and bad about it. Just obviously be kind, make sure your criticism is effective. But I am really impressed with it. It's definitely made it a much more challenging, much more enjoyable aircraft to fly. I will definitely be bringing this around a bit more often just to sort of start getting familiar with the real world operation of the aircraft now. I'm really impressed with this developer's work, and I hope he continues his work. Like I said, one of my requests, if I may, would be the G1000 Classic. If they could move these changes over to it, I think that'd be awesome, but that's just me being spoiled. But as always, guys, stay safe and healthy, and stay tuned for the next one, and I'll see you guys soon.